stand up. Okay, I'm going to stand up because I want y'all to see my shirt. One moment. Okay, here we go. Yes, I'm wearing my Jackson State 2. All right, welcome back to What She Said Sports. So today has been fun. Earlier today, we had an excellent live stream where we talked about Shedeur Sanders and basically I was asking, is the NFL anti-NIL? And y'all should go watch that live stream. It was actually really good. It's almost at 1,000 views. There's excellent comments. There's been excellent comments all day long from the What She Said podcast community. And I even gave an idea for similar to what I'm wearing. I want to get a jersey. I want there to be a jersey that says, because they have, number 2. See, I want there to be a jersey with the number 2 on the front, just like this. And on the back, instead of Sanders, I wanted to say legendary. And see how I have the stripes on the side? So I want it so somebody can get an idea of what I'm talking about. But instead of t-shirt material, I want you to use like the mesh material, like that white jersey that I always wear. Yeah. So the white mesh material with the long sleeves, with the stripes like this, the arms with the stripes, the sleeves with the long stripes. Go check out my videos with the white mesh jersey, and then it has the 2 on it. So that's what I want. I was hoping somebody on Shedeur's team, not Shedeur because we know he's busy, maybe Bucky at Well Off Media can get it done. Somebody can get it done before I get it done. Because I'm already thinking today. I said, hey, I think I want to get somebody to help me make this product if they don't want to make it, because that's what I want. So I'm still wearing my Jackson State shirt. Straight. Still wearing my Jackson State shirt, right? And excuse me, move this out the way. Still wearing my Jackson State shirt. I'm wearing the number 2, and I want something like this, maybe at the Browns colors. Which are my favorite colors? My favorite colors are orange, brown, and teal. So that's why y'all see the logo with the teal and stuff like that. So, hey y'all, how you doing? Hey Jerry, how you doing? Hey Marlon, how you doing? Oh, somebody just became a member. Who is that? Hey, oh my gosh, we just got a new member before the podcast even started. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Blue. Wait, way to go, Blue. Thank you. So y'all welcome, Blue. Just joined the What She Said friends. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, Blue. All right, so we're just gonna say thank you for that. Blue letting us know. They support the channel. I appreciate it. Oh, that's awesome. I like that. Thank y'all so much. I'm trying to see if it can be highlighted. I don't see it. Oh, that's right. YouTube does not have that capability. So thank you, Blue. Thank you so much. Thank you. Y'all welcome Blue to the family. Don't matter if you're friends or family. Just welcome to the What She Said podcast community. All right. So we were live on Twitch from 7:30 to 8:30. Now, I'm not going to say that's going to be our time slot. We're going to be a pop-up random for a while until I can figure out at what time I want to go live on Twitch. But let me tell you, we had fun. If you go to Twitch, you go to What She Said Sports, maybe you can see the live. It was like an hour and maybe 4 minutes long. Let me tell you what we did. I called it What She Said Sports Game Day. So we played our game that we typically play, right? We played our game. We just did one. And guess what we did? Something I've been wanting to do on here forever, but it looks like I can do it on Twitch. We watched the last 2 minutes of the Baylor game. Baylor versus Colorado. Y'all know the game. That's the one where Cam Newton said Shedeur Sanders didn't have a memorable game. And I was like, you obviously have never seen the Baylor game. And I have been telling y'all, I've been wanting for us to watch that game. So we watched it over there. We played the game first. Then we watched the last 2 minutes. And it was fun. And we did it for hours. So guess what? We're going to do it again. Guess what game we're going to watch on Twitch next? So What She Said Sports Game Day. Up next, we're going to watch some, not all of it. The UCF game. I think the Colorado versus UCF game in 2024 was one of the most complete games that Colorado played. Now, why are we doing this? Okay, because there's a lot of people in Cleveland who are shocked as to who Shedeur Sanders is. Now, I don't know how it is you go out to university on pro day and you send area scouts out there consistently to watch their practice, and you know who Travis is, but you don't know who Shedeur is. So somebody dropped the ball in Cleveland, and there was a reporter I'm looking for. If y'all can find out his name, y'all let me know. He was the reporter that asked Shedeur Sanders, now, why is it that people like you? In other words, questioning Shedeur Sanders' celebrity. I'm like, how is it that you don't know the answer to that question? So I said, as soon as I find out that person's name, I'm going to send them the highlights from the last 2 minutes of the Baylor game where Shedeur Sanders showed us why his legacy and his jersey is retired at CU. Sacked 8 times in that game with 2 seconds on the clock. 2 seconds. Do one of the most accurate throws that LaJohntay Wester scooped up and caught with his impeccable ball handling skills to tie it up with Mata making an extra point to go into overtime. And y'all know Travis Hunter, Coach Prime said, I need a playmaker. Travis Hunter popped up and stripped that ball out from that running back, who to this day is probably still surprised that happened. Richardson, that was his last name. Shout out to him. He did a good job, but we were just better. And Baylor thought they had that game. I don't know if y'all remember. It was CU's homecoming. Down to the last 2 seconds, Shedeur had been sacked 8 times. We thought we had it on a pass with Will Shepherd, but he couldn't hold on to it, unfortunately. There was a pass. Shedeur used his mobility skills and got down that field to get it in position. Will couldn't hold on to it, but LaJohntay got it in the end zone. And when I tell you, it was up from there. It was up from there. So tomorrow or whenever we go back on Twitch, I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. Whenever we go back on Twitch, please go to Twitch, follow me. There's 3 or 4 of us. That way you get the notifications when we're live. Unless I know what time it is, I'll come over here to YouTube and post it in the community, and I'll post it with the members too. So y'all can join me on Twitch. If you don't have the app, it's free. Just download it. Shedeur's on there. Shiloh's on there. There's one even called Prime Video. I don't know if that's Coach Prime or Amazon Prime, but I saw it. It said for you, so it's suggesting things that based on who I follow. So go follow What She Said Sports on Twitch, so you can join us for What She Said Sports Game Day, when we review and we watch and we analyze Colorado games. And I'm not limiting it to 2024. I don't know. I probably would only want to look at the first 3 games of 2023. So we probably could look at those too. But that's what we're going to be doing on Twitch. We're going to be playing games. We're going to be watching CU games while the guys were there. Hell, we might go back to Jackson State and watch them too. It was fun. It was fun. You know, you get to watch it and then I analyze it. Y'all have never seen me analyze sports, so y'all might enjoy it. So download the Twitch app and follow What She Said Sports. All right. How's everybody doing? I watch damn near all of them every day. I don't blame you because the games are good. Terrence, the games are good. That Baylor game, I can't tell y'all how many times I've watched that clip. I know I've talked about it on here multiple times. And today I got the opportunity to share my screen and we watched it. And I'm so happy. So download the Twitch app. Follow What She Said Sports on Twitch. Hey, y'all. Hey, Caroline. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. He rolled left. Yep. Shedeur rolled left out the pocket. Yep. Sure did. Sure did. It said Coach Schumer drew up that play because Shedeur had been sacked. The right side was giving way. And we talked about how the announcers, I was like, did y'all hear what the announcer said? How the O-line can't even hold up long enough to move the ball forward. And the one play that they could hold up long enough to move the ball forward, Will Shepherd, unfortunately, just couldn't hold on to the ball. But Shedeur did not give up. He did not give up. He was not scared. He was not flappable. That was the game Jordan Seaton had a false start. And I explained, look, he's a freshman. The pressure's on. And this is what Coach Prime means by the pressure gets to people. I think the pressure was on for Will Shepherd. He couldn't hold on to that ball. But LaJohntay Wester. And when I saw LaJohntay get down and scoop that ball up and make sure his hands were closed, I said, I cannot wait to see him catch passes from Lamar Jackson. And I said on Twitch, I said, if LaJohntay was in Baltimore last year, and they threw that damn ball at him in that ice, rain, and snow, or whatever the hell was going on in inclement weather, oh, he would have caught that ball. The nickname I gave LaJohntay Weston at CU for the 1 year he was there was End Zone Magnet. Baltimore got them a real. They got them a real one. I can't wait. I will be watching Baltimore. I just want to see LaJohntay get in the game and ball out because we know he a dog. We know he a dog. But Shedeur is that dude, bro. Shedeur, after he took his helmet off, he walked to the side. He didn't look exasperated. He sat down and was just looking at the next play. Like, this is just another day at the office. So for the person who asks, why do people like you? Which is ridiculous. I'm going to send you, I'm going to find out who you are, and I'm going to send you the link to the last 2 minutes of the Baylor game. It's an audio podcast, audio like telecast, but you can see the game, so you can hear the guys calling out the game. Jack Treese, I think was his name. Well, that's the best. I need to ask Jack Treese, can I get your original audio? Your original video, because it's almost at 1 million. I don't know how it's not. I guess it's just the last 2 minutes, but there are some out there that are at 1 million. That game will forever. And they said, the commentator said, this game seals Shedeur Sanders' legacy here in Colorado. So if you don't know who he is, go watch the Baylor game, the last 2 minutes. Let's see. It says, in those tight games, it showed how much points to have. Right. And that's why I'm like, how y'all don't know this? So y'all not really out here doing no scouting. You know who Travis is, but you don't know who Shedeur is. Well, how do you think Travis got the ball? And that's just more of that foolishness. So let's talk about tonight's topic. So I've been doing a little research. Who's going to protect our QB1, Shedeur Sanders? I don't care if he come off the bench and they let it play. The preseason is where Cleveland need to get it right. Now, we know the preseason is just that. It's not the regular season. These games don't technically count. These are the perfect opportunities to let Shedeur play and Dylan play. Now, I heard that one of the linemen, Boitano, if I said his name wrong, I apologize, had positive things to say about Shedeur. That's nice. But I did research on one of the recent acquisitions from the Washington Commanders, Cornelius Lucas. And the reason why I researched him, we already talked about the other guy, Tevin Jenkins, on a 1-year contract for $3 million, and I think he's a left tackle. So they paid, I think the contract for Cornelius Lucas, who had been in the league for 12 years, by the way. The Saints was one of the teams he played for, the Commanders. They paid him $5 million for 2 years total. So, I'm sorry, for 2 years each. So $10 million, 5 years each. And I'm happy. I'm happy he's been in the league for 12 years. But see, here's the problem. Here's the problem. He's not a starter. Now, he won the starting job, but they drafted somebody else in Washington. And why they gonna say they won't have the confidence in him, they went and drafted somebody else. But Cleveland didn't draft anybody for the O-line. They decided it wasn't enough priority not to get elite tackles for the next 4 years. So we have somebody on the left side for a year, and we have Lucas for 2 years. That's more instability. It doesn't matter if you get a new O-line coach and you keep moving your players in and out. You're supposed to get people that's going to be around for the next 4 years so they can do what? They can build with the quarterback, regardless of who the quarterback is. That's bad business. That's bad decision making. That means the O-line, which was problematic, wasn't even a priority enough to get offensive tackles in the draft. I talked about that. I said Cleveland got signs. They didn't get no entrees. And I was right. They went with the reduced prices after and free agency for seasoned veterans who really are on their way out. 12 years, and he's going to have 2 more years, so he'll be 14 years, and he's not a starter. I saw the comments. People was like, he's a nice guy, but he's not a starter like that. You know, I read about him in Washington. He was a swing tackle. They used him when people were injured. And this is who you bring into Cleveland when you have an overcrowded QB room and you got the best QB in the draft. I don't care where you drafted him at. That's who you have, because Shedeur's stats in Cleveland were undeniable. It says you should have got an offensive tackle on the left side out of the draft, not a defensive tackle. And it's those kind of decisions that make people like me and others want Shedeur somewhere else. Now, he's happy. He signed something today. I don't know what he was signing. I'm assuming it's his contract. Then it was like, welcome home. And he was signing. He looked really happy, and I'm really happy for him. But he's just not in the best situations where winning is the priority. I think Cleveland had 11 picks. And then what did they get for Travis when they traded up and they still couldn't get offensive linemen? And you go and get people that you're not going to have for the next 4 years who know that their kids going to be in school here for the next 4 years? You couldn't commit to the O-line? We talked about Ohio State, how Ohio State has their hierarchy on their NIL, who they get paid list. The quarterback first, the O-line second. But Cleveland don't even have it like that. They got with a defensive tackle. And while I'm happy that Mason Graham is happy in his relationship and she's a cute sister or whatever, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. That's nice. However, I would like an O-line. But since Shedeur was able to throw for 400 yards on 1 day of practice, 5 touchdowns, 28 of 30 for accuracy, completions, and attempts, with the O-line that he had, that's cool. But chances are they must be rookies because it was rookie minicamp, so they're not going to start. So now do you see the dilemma? So the O-lineman coming out today, I'll research him next. I'll tell you what it is I like about Cornelius Lucas. I do like that he's a veteran, but I would have preferred a veteran start. I would have preferred that they paid $10 million to somebody who in the last 5 years played more than 38 games. How many, in 5 seasons, how many games are there? Almost 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Almost 100 games. Take off a few. I would have preferred somebody to pay $10 million. They just let me be the GM. Just let me be the GM. Maybe I need to do a fantasy league or figure out how to play fantasy football because it's frustrating. I'm like, you spent $10 million on a midnight deal, which was actually very concerning because why was it at midnight? And why did you spend that kind of money on midnight on a 12-year veteran that has never played more than 38 games in the 5 years that they've been in the NFL? So what do I like about him? He can play left tackle or right tackle. But he said he's a natural left tackle, so he's probably going to make mistakes on the left. He's more likely to make mistakes on the left. I'm like, here we go. And since he's a right tackle, and he's not natural with it, he's more likely to be, his technique is to be right because he has to think about it. So, it's kind of like when you're learning something new. When you're learning something new, you have to apply more focus and effort. And that's what he is on the right tackle. Not that it's new. And then on the left side, it comes natural, like just walking, just walking. You're not learning how to walk. You've been walking all your life. You know how to put one foot in front of the other and get where you got to go. That's who he is on the left. So because that's his comfort zone, he's more likely to make mistakes. Can we not get the blind side correct? Can we just not do it? Can we just not do it? We are going from a person who had a 54 rating, which is subpar for a left tackle, and we didn't get nobody in the draft. And we see Shedeur out here balling out. I'm like, I want to be, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see Shedeur play. I don't know if it's going to be this year. Cleveland just comes with all kinds of challenges. All kinds of challenges. I said earlier today, congratulations on the Lunch and Stream podcast that Charles Woodson being a minority, having a minority ownership stake in Cleveland. I'm happy for Woodson, and it makes me feel comfortable that Shedeur is somebody on the ground. And I'm sure Woodson knows Coach Prime. I'm pretty sure. They both are legends at the position and both played on both sides of the ball, from what I understand. So I want to see him on the field. I don't want him to be one of those silent partners that you'll never see and they just collect their check and they don't have any input. I hope they allow him, because I don't know if they do that, to come on out to the facility. We see him talking to Shedeur, and maybe we see him, out there at the practices. I mean, why not, right? He is a Hall of Famer. You did, make sure that he got ownership at this very speculative time. So I would hope, since that makes me comfortable as a fan, that I can breathe a little easier with Shedeur in Cleveland, that we can see more of Charles Woodson. Whether he make a decision or not, I just need to see the man out there talking to Shedeur, because then that acquisition will make sense at this time. So shout out to Shedeur. If y'all knew Shedeur was signing today, I didn't get a chance to look at it on Twitter. I just reposted it. I don't even know what it was. I just, thought, oh, it's probably his contract, because I don't recall seeing him sign a contract. I saw Travis sign his, but I didn't see Shedeur sign his. So I think that that's what it was. If y'all know if there's anything else came out of that contract, they decided to go ahead and give him his money, and I mean all 70 million of it, let me know. So Cornelius Lucas is a nice guy. Instead of doing a football camp, he decided to do a swim camp. I think he said he did one in New Orleans. I love it. As a NOLA girl, I love it. Everybody does football camps, like he said. He said his lady suggested he do a swim camp, and it's wonderful. He found a foundation out there, and he sponsored it, and you know that's something he wants to do in Cleveland. Like I said, he's a nice guy, but he's also 12 going on 14 years in the next 2 years. A lot of money, $10 million, and he's not a starter. He could have started in Washington, but they got somebody else. So here's what I don't like. I don't like that Cleveland did not prioritize the O-line. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't even care if Shedeur wasn't there. The point is, how do you not prioritize the O-line? So I don't like that. And as I'm saying this, I see Andrew Berry's face because he clearly could have prioritized the O-line, right? Or maybe he didn't have any true decision-making ability. Maybe he has perceived power, like I said, Mike Tomlin has. And as you could see, Ryan Clark agreed. Not that he saw my podcast, he has his own thoughts. But the point is, he echoed what I said. Mike Tomlin just has perceived power, and it's true. So he probably slowly but surely looking for houses somewhere else, unless he want to stay in Pittsburgh, or realizing that his career in the NFL is coming to an end, and no matter how long he's quiet, it don't matter. You on the clock. Andrew Berry is next. Did you see the video of Cam telling Shedeur that they should start their own league? No, but please, somebody email it to me. I would love to see it. I didn't see it, but I would love to see it. And they do need to start their own league. I'm hoping somebody's working on this and just behind the scenes. It's a lot happening behind the scenes. How do you expect good QB players, right, K Hayes? And I just you know, like I said, it don't matter whether they have Dylan Gabriel. See, this is what I see with they strategy. And I thought about this earlier. So let me tell y'all this right fast. Okay. Now think about this. We saw who they drafted before they got Shedeur. We felt like they were forced to take Shedeur, but we know they met with Shedeur extensively. So we know pre-draft they met with Shedeur extensively. We know in the draft they were not happy about getting an elite QB in the 5th round. All right. They were taking Dylan Gabriel, who people say his height is problematic. But if I take Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round and I take 2 running backs, the number 1 running back that came out of the national championship, Quinshon Judkins, and I already got some running backs, and I didn't get no O-lineman, I'm not worried about throwing the ball. I just want Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, or Joe Flacco, the people I had in mind at this late stage, to pass off the ball to Quinshon Judkins and whoever else are the running backs. That was their strategy. So now stay with me. If that was your strategy late, when did you change it? Because if you were courting, since you were courting Shedeur Sanders hot and heavy pre-draft until March 31st, when you pivoted because your owner suddenly remembered that he had a $230 million guaranteed contract for Deshaun Watson out there, and y'all need to unbury yourself from it first. And then you pivot from Shedeur. So let me ask you a question. If you was going to get Shedeur, were you always going to get Shedeur and 2 running backs, a defensive tackle or whatever, and no O-line? We know Shedeur is a pass-heavy QB. So how was that going to be your strategy? And I know I saw a post from Marty Schottenheimer on Threads before the draft that said Cleveland Browns draft strategy has been approved. Because the one thing I said to myself, who the hell approved it? What? Like, what does that mean? Why it got to be approved? Is there a problem? Like, are they got training wheels on? What? Are they in trouble? Like, I was perplexed by that. I didn't go back to his page to look for it. I might get bored one day and go find it, but I probably could Google it. So when I read that on Threads, I was like, the draft strategy has been approved. So I was like, well, whatever they decide to do must be stamped and sealed, right? So I think they had already pivoted from Shedeur by then. I'd have to go look. But see, the thing is, when you were courting Shedeur hot heavy, you try to tell me with 11 picks, and you gonna get Shedeur at number 2. You wasn't gonna get no O-lineman? And you know your O-line was trash? You know the left tackle was a 54 rating? That's subpar. And even without, when you pivoted from Shedeur, you pivoted from Shedeur to Dylan Gabriel, because I know that wasn't always your first choice because you met with him in secret. If Dylan Gabriel was their first choice, they would have met with him loud and proud like they did Shedeur. They must think we forgot because they forgot they had Deshaun Watson over there. I don't know how you forget you owe somebody $230 million fully guaranteed. Y'all know why I keep saying that? Because I think it's the cover up there. That's what I think. That's why I keep saying it. Because you're not going to convince me and nobody else that that's the person that would get a fully guaranteed contract and can't nobody else get one. So I don't like that Cleveland didn't get an O-line. I'm still side-eyeing Cleveland because they courted Shedeur. They pivoted from Shedeur. They moved on to Dillon, but they didn't tell Shedeur. And now that we see what they ended up with, my question is, okay, so when Matt, what's his name, Marty, whatever his name is, that said Schefter, when he said Cleveland's draft strategy has been approved, did y'all have another one and you had to revise it and now it's approved? Meaning you were going to get some O-linemen, but since you got Dylan Gabriel, you just want him to pass the ball off, or he going to ride the bench and you're going to get Joe Flacco, who's 40, and you're going to let him run the ball. See, that makes sense. It makes sense why you go and get 40-year-old Joe Flacco. You're not expecting him to hang out in the pocket and throw the ball and possibly get tackled by a bunch of 23-year-olds. You expecting Joe Flacco to snap the ball, step off, and give it to Quinshon Judkins or somebody else like that, because you got a whole lot of running backs. You were supposed to get a wide receiver, but you didn't get a wide receiver in the draft either. You got one in free agency. So the pieces that you truly needed, an O-line, man, a few of them, left tackle for sure, a wide receiver, you didn't even bother to get, because you knew at some point going into the draft, you was going to have 40-year-old Joe Flacco just pass off the ball to the running back. So that's why you didn't get a wide receiver. That's why you didn't get a wide receiver. But see, here's the question I have. Since you had a draft strategy that was approved, I need to see the one you had first when you was courting Shedeur. Because you're not going to sit up here and make me and anybody else believe that you were going to draft Shedeur number 2 with $50 million and you was going to make him ride the bench. No. No. So what was your draft strategy with Shedeur? That's what I want to know. Or if the one that you executed is the one you had, oh, you was just playing with Shedeur. You weren't going to never draft him. That's what that means. That's exactly what that means. Because there's no way you draft Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado, pass-heavy QB, most accurate QB in the draft, and you don't get O-lineman. Unless you was never going to draft him at all. And maybe that's the point we're getting at. Just like they had to remember, oh, we got Deshaun Watson. We can't, we got to unbury ourselves from that. And then they get a lesser price QB and Dylan Gabriel. Well, Cleveland got a mess on their hands. They got a mess on their hands. They got 2 new running backs. They got a defensive tackle, and they have seasoned O-linemen, who none of which are starters, who are on their way out of the league and probably just happy to get paid that kind of money again. They didn't get any starters. They got depth guys, or what they say, spot starters. That's what Cornelius was, a spot starter. He played when people got injured. That's who they paid $10 million to. But all of the offensive tackles and all of the picks that they had, they just let them go in the draft, just like they did Travis and just like they did Shedeur. So they went shopping with coupons, essentially. They went shopping with triple off coupons, paid as little as possible and overpaid in some cases for something that they're going to roll the dice on. I think it's great that Cornelius Lucas is, I want to say ambidextrous, but that's probably not the right usage. So I'm going to say can play on the left and the right side. I think that's great that he has that versatility, but what's missing is his starter experience, something you need right now. Because if he's not the left tackle, and that's what you brought in Tevin Jenkins from Chicago, and he's going to play on the right, which is, he said, not his natural position. Or you're going to put Tevin Jenkins out of his position and put him on the right and put Cornelius Lucas on the left where he's more natural. I guess we're going to find out. But sound like the O-line in Cleveland is in flux. And that has people like me and others I just rather just leave Shedeur on the bench while y'all figure it out. Because had you gone with your premium grocery list and went into the premium section and got premium entrees, then maybe we could be happy if we see Shedeur out there. But you already setting us up for a mess with this O-line. And I think it's great that this guy who was on the O-line last year, and I need to look up his performance to see how he really moves. He thinks Shedeur's great, has potential. That's awesome. That's awesome. But nobody's convincing me of anything because Cleveland did not prioritize the O-line. And they gambled on Cornelius Lucas. Yes, it's great that he is left and right tackle, can play either one. But he only played 38 games in 5 years. He don't have starter experience. He's a filling guy, just like Tevin Jenkins. And they didn't prioritize the O-line, and I don't like that. Shedeur, whether he's there or not, that's not good business. That explains why the quarterbacks have a revolving door in Cleveland. That explains why there's a revolving door. 40 QBs taking snaps and starters. In 25 years since 1999? That's why. They didn't prioritize the O-line. They got a crowded quarterback room and still didn't prioritize the O-line until after the draft and free agency with veterans who are not starters. If you couldn't get it more wrong, you can't even make this up. That is so incompetent. That's the kind of thing that gets you fired. So you knew what we needed. So when we go out here and we see Shedeur running for his life again because we know he's capable, I don't know if Dylan Gabriel is used to that type of environment. See, one of the reasons we said Shedeur Sanders was the most NFL-ready QB, because I know I said it multiple times, because he was the most battle-tested NFL-ready QB. You get people out there under their bright lights with 2 seconds on the clock, and you're trying to keep your team in the game to get it to a point where Mata can come out here and don't miss and tie it up just like they did. Everybody can't do that. Everybody don't have whatever it takes, that kind of resiliency, that kind of poise. Everybody don't have that. That's what makes Shedeur great. So I said they're going to have a hard time trading Shedeur off before the season when they get to the 53-man roster. They're going to have a hard time keeping him on the 53-man roster and not playing him. And they're going to have a damn hard time if they usher him up the ladder to number 2 and they start Joe Flacco and then Shedeur come in and that O-line act like they don't know what to do because they didn't get starters. They got seasoned veterans who are backups and relief guys for $13 million. And one, the left tackle relief guy is supposed to be, he on a 1-year contract, so he don't have no kind of stability. I don't even know how I'm supposed to take this seriously. I just got to get through these number of games. And then the other one is only 2 years. So no need for them to be buying a house. I guess they ought to just lease a townhouse and see what happens. Because I don't know if he's going to go past 14 years. Heaven forbid either one of them get hurt. Cleveland did not keep the main thing. Like I said, no disrespect to Cornelius Lucas. He seems like a really great guy, a really great human being. I love what he's doing for the children. I do love the versatility. But what he needs, not him, what Cleveland needs is somebody with experience. Having somebody who's versatile and doesn't have the experience at a starter ain't not going to help you do shit. You already got a left tackle, so why do he need to be versatile? If you should have went and got a starter, or you should have went and got these guys who were in the draft, who you going to sign the 4-year contracts, who going to be around with Dylan Gabriel and possibly Shedeur. But that's not what you did. You keep getting Band-Aids and you keeping that revolving door going like you just don't care. And you want us fans to be invested and to watch your season. We watching out for our guy to see if y'all going to protect him or if you set him up to fail. So that's my piece on Cornelius Lucas. Really nice guy. Saw his family, beautiful little girl, beautiful family, nice people. But Cleveland should have gotten the O-line taken care of with 11 picks that they had in the draft. So they can develop these guys and they can mold them with the QBs that they signed for 4 years. All right, let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Good evening, Kiel. Shedeur Sanders is the perfect quarterback for Kevin Stefanski's system. Okay, Tap King, we'll take that. We'll see. We just don't have to see. I think you in Cleveland, right? Tap King, are you in Cleveland? I don't want to see the NFL a bigger and faster. Yeah, it says facts. Yep. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. So I'm waiting to hear y'all's thoughts about Cornelius Lucas. Was it a good investment? The midnight deal for $10 million for 2 years for a 12-year veteran that only started 38 games. Let me know y'all's thoughts. I'm trying to turn up. Okay, so that's what I need to do. So, okay, here we go. Max said, if I'm not mistaken, if drafted at least what? Oh, okay, hold on. I was trying to see what you were saying. Isaiah said it would be better for Shedeur to be traded to New Orleans. I don't even want Shedeur in New Orleans, and I really like that idea. I really like that idea. It said, nope, the NFL hates the Saints. Sweet Caroline said, no, not traded to the Aints. Right, Caroline. No, that's okay. If Shedeur go anywhere, I tell you what, since I said Trevor Lawrence can leave Jacksonville and go to Cleveland. They told me, no. I said, you know what? Send him to the Saints. Send Trevor Lawrence, who's been in the league as a starter for how many years? Send him to the Saints, and please send Shedeur to Jacksonville. That's all I care about. I mean, y'all don't like that idea? Send Trevor Lawrence, because remember, it was said, Pac-Man Jones show, and his guest that day echoed it. They are trying to find somewhere for Trevor Lawrence to go. Why they keeping it quiet? But see, when you overpay people, generally you get stuck with them. So they overpaid Trevor Lawrence. He underperformed. Now they try to find him somewhere else to go. And I feel like if he leaves Jacksonville, that's where Shedeur going. If the NFL wants to make this right, they will make that happen expeditiously before the season, so we can all become Jacksonville Jaguar fans. I mean, we fans anyway, but we really gonna be fans for sure. And you know what? I can see them blocking it, because one of the reasons I feel like I told y'all how I feel. I can collude with you or I can collude against you. And some of them owners got to be asking themselves, especially the new ones. Especially the new ones that don't look like the older ones. Are they blocking you from getting an elite QB by everybody gonna stand down pat and nobody gonna get him and take him off the board? Because I bet there's an owner that will be like, damn, I want to get Shedeur, but I can't go against it. I told y'all there's a pecking order to those owners. They're not all equal. If you knew, you probably got to come in and shut up and sit down and do as we say and don't ask no questions. That's what I said, man. Shiloh came out better. Shiloh did come out better. Now, I told y'all Shedeur Sanders was going to go undrafted. Do y'all think Shedeur would have been in a better position had he gone undrafted? Honestly. Now, mind you, they get robbed. Let's just be clear. Jimmy Horn Jr., LeJounte, Shiloh, and Shedeur all got robbed. Shiloh, I said, would have been a second round pick. Mid to late, early, it don't matter. A second round pick. Jimmy Horn Jr. should have been a late first rounder, early second rounder. And by early, I mean not 3 picks into the second round, depending on what people needed. Y'all know Shedeur should have been. Now, I want you to understand something. If Shedeur had gone like he was supposed to QB1, just like you saw Cam Ward choose his wide receiver, Restrepo from Miami, Shedeur would have chose his wide receiver from Colorado, and I ain't gonna let y'all figure out who it is. I mean, I'm gonna let y'all figure out who it is, but I think y'all ought to know who it is. And that's why I say they screwed everybody over. They messed it up. But our guys are grateful. See, forget that humble. Grateful. Our guys are grateful. I'm not gonna say whether they're humble or not, but every one of our guys are grateful to sign their contracts as is. And that's why they're so good. And that's why this sucks what they did. See, that means the NFL could be better, but they're doing too much. They're doing too much. You out here playing politics and we out here trying to watch a football game. You're supposed to put the best people in the right positions to win. Everybody's supposed to have the same goal. It's simple, but they make it so complicated because they're trying to lead with their preferences. They're trying to control black men like this is 1865 or 1855. And it's not. This is not Candyland. And the NFL is not going to get any better until they move those kind of people out the way. So I am happy that Charles Woodson has a minority ownership stake in the Cleveland Browns. Yes, I'm side-eyeing that because the timing and where he ended up with ownership is amazing to me. But I'm happy nonetheless for him, his family, and Shedeur. Al Smith, Trevor has a no trade clause. Let me say something about a no trade clause. Depending on, and now y'all have seen how the NFL get down. You cannot have no choices because there's a lot of black quarterbacks that don't have no choices. If they really want this to happen, let's just say if one of those lawsuits that's out there moves forward and they gotta get involved and start responding, your no trade clause don't matter if I got to push you to do it somewhere else. Understand that. These people can lean on these people enough to make them do whatever. We have seen it. We have seen it. In the case where it's them or Trevor Lawrence, they're going to pick themselves. They're going to pick self-preservation every time. So I get what you're saying, but no. I think, like they say, they looking. I don't know why they got to look. Maybe I don't know why they got to look. I think they got to create the right situation for it to happen. Heck, I'm undrafted. I'm still free. Matt, you so funny. Who did you play for, Matt? Miss anyway. Oh, okay. Moderators was on that one. It said the only difference is the draft picks usually make the team. The undrafted could get cut. Right, K. Hayes. And I want y'all to know, only 4% of fifth round QBs make the team. So they were expecting Shedeur to get cut. Now, understand this. Take him off the board. He was going to go undrafted. Seemingly, he could have picked a team, or seemingly a better team could have picked him. What do y'all think if that was the strategy? Take him off the board. Let him go undrafted. If that was the strategy, we're just speaking hypothetically here, what y'all think would have happened? He didn't have an agent, so he wasn't expecting that. If he was expecting to go undrafted free agent, he would have already had an agent. Shiloh said he got one at the last minute and the Bucks called him. Now, I don't know what happened first, but that's how it went. And for people who say they should have had an agent, no, they shouldn't have, because both of them should have been decent round draft picks. Shedeur should have been first. What do you need an agent for? Shiloh second or third. I don't care if he went fourth. He didn't need an agent if you're going to go and get drafted. You need an agent, a sports representation agent, to talk you up to teams and try to know who it is that have an opening. And hey, I got a guy. I know he's good. And Shiloh went with. Do y'all remember when Tyreek Hill was in that situation and he kept saying Carl Drew? He went with Drew Rosenhaus. That's one of the best long-term agents that's out here who have connections with everybody in the NFL, who could instantly know who needs what. Hey, I got a guy, and plug him in. So I'm not mad at Coach Prime that they didn't have agents, because he was expecting Shedeur and Shiloh to go early. Now, when he did take off a vacation and say something about some bull jump getting ready to go down, I'm going on vacation because there's some bull jump getting ready to go down, that was the moment to get agents. That was it. That was the moment to get agents for both of them and make sure everybody else can see you had one, because clearly something was amiss and he knew it. Maybe he didn't know what it was, and he definitely didn't know to this extent. And I do wonder how he feels now after being stabbed in the back. I do wonder, I know Coach Prime had the tendency to say, hey, God got it, whatever, but you still human being. You still feel some type of way. And you can't say that you don't feel any type of way about that. Now, you can't say it publicly because you got to get along with these people, because you're going to be in Colorado presumably until 2029. So you need to get the rest of your players drafted. And if they screw you again, I hope you start your own league, because it wouldn't surprise me if they did. It's funny how they use him as a scapegoat, but then 15 of 16 Bucks got into the league in some way, shape, or form. invited, signed, associated, drafted. 15 of 16. That's huge. Now, when they talk about who got drafted, we only had 4 drafted. So, like, we're up there with Syracuse and Arizona like that. But technically, we had 15 of 16. The kicker went to CFL. That's huge. That's huge. And that's probably why we have a 5-star now. Because they like, hell, shit, I'm going to go to Colorado because maybe that was just about Shedeur. I don't know. Because they did take Travis. They did take Travis. And that's probably why we still have so many other people, because they realize this is not about the program. They picking and choosing here. And a lot of people don't realize the other guys got snubbed. They don't know him like that. They know Shedeur, they know Travis. So they thinking this is about Coach Prime. It's not. That's something to say. Do you think that Cleveland drafted Shedeur to maybe push Watson out? No. I don't think Cleveland wanted to get Shedeur. I think the owners took Shedeur because they wanted to continue the foolishness, because that's why they did it. They should have been so happy to get Shedeur in the 5th round. But like Andrew Barry said, we were going to wait to see how low he go. And then you mad when he went in the 5th round. Traded up in the damn same round to get somebody in the 5th round. Traded 2 picks to get somebody in the 5th round. That make that man look so incompetent, but that's his fault. That's his fault. He did not have to join in on the party to humiliate Shedeur. What he should have did is what Mike Tomlin did. Oh, no, we were very impressed with Shedeur. The intangibles, no, they were great. We just don't think he would have been 4th on the roster behind Aaron Rodgers would have been beneficial for him. I know they was mad at him, but hey, it don't matter now. It don't matter now. There's something called pre-termination. That means the company know you're going to be fired in a specific amount of time before you know. When you know, you ain't going to have no access. I think he already pre-termed in the system. He just don't know. K. Hayes, were any more of the undrafted players signed? I think everybody is. They said Shedeur is with the Texans. He was one of the last people we were looking for. He was number 14 because Will Shepherd technically was 15. And then unfortunately, he had to, take care of a medical issue or something about his physical. Yeah, something popped up on his physical. So he wasn't able to stay with the team. I'll say it that way. And that was 15. And the kicker in Canada is 16. So he was 16 for 16 in pro leagues. I don't care if they're not all the NFL. They don't all have to be the NFL. I don't know, maybe because the UFL was almost over, they don't have a draft, but maybe that's next year. So 16 of 16 in pro leagues. And we talked about how many of y'all think out of 16 who will go? We said 12. It turned out to be 16. It said, did Cameron Silver-Craig and BJ Green sign their contracts? I think so. I know Cameron Silver-Craig and Travis did. I don't know about BJ Green. I would have to look at his site. Cameron signed one. LaJonte, Jimmy, of course, Travis. I don't know about BJ Green, but he's doing good. He made a highlight reel up there when they were showing Travis running around or something, but then they went to the lineman, and I thought I saw BJ Green, but I could have been looking at the wrong number because I think he's wearing a different number. So I might have been looking at the wrong person. They drafted 12 so they can recoup. Al Smith, what you say? They drafted Travis so they can recoup the Watson money they wasted. Oh, you talking about, they said Carl Reed hinted on this on Uncle Chico a few weeks back. They were doing reevaluating relationships. Who are you talking about reality checks when you say Carl Reed hinted on this back in the day? Because see, I'm saying things and then it comes up in the chat and I'm not really 100% certain. And I know some of y'all might be on devices and quick with it, but just put in a name so we could kind of know and I could address it because that was some good insight. Willie is pretty much in the same position Zay was in. Xavier Weaver, but Xavier Weaver got signed to Arizona. Will Shepherd failed a physical, didn't go well. I hate to say he failed a physical. Something popped up on his physical. Whatever it is, he's no longer with the team. So he would have to come back. I don't think that happened to Xavier Weaver. Tap King, Cleveland will recoup some of the money on Watson contract through insurance. No, not some, all. Cleveland it's already been discussed. We discussed it on several shows that how can Cleveland draft another QB2 or QB1 because of Deshaun Watson. So I did some research and learned that Deshaun Watson's injury is covered by insurance. And Cleveland will be reimbursed the amount that they owe him for this year, which is $45 or $46 million. The caveat was, yes, they're going to be reimbursed for it. They know, but they don't get the money till 2026. And I said, well, accounting probably was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Just go ahead on and get who you need to get. So the fact, and I'm glad you brought that up, the fact that they knew that they knew Deshaun Watson's injury was covered by insurance. Cleveland was the one that came out and said, we have money to shop with. They sure did. And I didn't even know who Andrew Berry was at the time. And I came back on the podcast and said, Cleveland said they got money. Yes, the Deshaun Watson contract is covered by insurance. They get the money in 2026. So accounting probably just going to let them go ahead on and do what they need to do. And Cleveland said, we have money to shop with. I was like, oh, okay. And they interviewed Jalen Milroe. They interviewed Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. But they interviewed Shedeur extensively. And then suddenly on March 31st, the owner comes out and says what? He speaks to the contrary. Well, we got Deshaun Watson contract and we need to unbury ourselves or bury ourselves out of that. Now, this is the contradiction right here. You was out here steadfastly telling people when you was interviewing quarterbacks, I got money to shop with. Deshaun Watson's injury is covered. It's documented. You can Google it because that's where I got the research from. But then on March 31st, a month before the draft, before Shedeur started taking a slide, we got the Deshaun Watson contract. We got to unbury it. So he told a bold-faced lie. They were already unburied from it because why? It was covered by insurance. And this is what I'm talking about when I say I think Cleveland set out to play in Shedeur's face the entire time. I don't think they were ever serious about getting him, but Andrew Berry clearly had to believe it, and he did. The reason why he looked so frustrated that he had to take Shedeur, let me tell you, think about this. You have a job. You tell your boss, this is what we think it should be, X, Y, Z. He said, oh, okay, I like that. You get in your car, you drive 2,000 miles across the country to meet somebody. And then it goes well, and they on board, everybody on board, we all align, you report back to home office. It's good. This is what we gonna do. We got the money to shop. Deshaun Watson's contract is covered by insurance, so we could get another elite QB with the number 2 pick. Okay, so then Marty Schefter is reporting, I'm confident. One thing I'm confident of is that Cleveland is gonna get a quarterback at number 2. And then here comes the owner. Well, yeah, we took a big swing and miss with Deshaun Watson. So we're going to have to bury ourselves out of that hole, maybe hold us accountable. That was putting Andrew Berry under the bus. So Andrew Berry was frustrated because why? We went down this road. You said it was okay to get this. And now at the 11th hour on March 31st, you didn't come to us. You went and told the media we took a big swing and miss. Like I messed up at my job, but I did what y'all told me to do with the Deshaun Watson contract. That wasn't my idea because I don't think it was. They don't even let black people have that type of autonomy in the NFL at any level. The janitor probably got to ask questions before he throw out the trash, ask for permission, or get it approved. I never heard anybody else say any other team's draft strategy was approved other than Cleveland's. No other team was discussed in the media by saying Mike Tomlin is being advised to draft Shedeur Sanders and make him QB2 behind Aaron Rodgers, who clearly hadn't even committed. And they was mad with him because Aaron Rodgers didn't commit. Because I think Aaron Rodgers wanted to know who they were going to draft first before he commit. It's all kind of stuff going on. But every day it becomes obvious to me that it is very possible that Cleveland courted Shedeur all the way to the point where they pivoted, did tell him, started secretly meeting with Dylan Gabriel because they never intended to take Shedeur. They only answered those questions truthfully when people question, why are you interviewing Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and Jalen Milroe, well, you don't have no money because you got Deshaun Watson. Oh no, we got money. His injury is, we get that money back in 2026 and we could use it. So when he came out on March 31st, he lied. They weren't burying themselves out of anything because insurance had covered Deshaun Watson's injury. More lies. And that's why people like me want Shedeur out of Cleveland. Shedeur just plays chess. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. That's why it's called collusion. Yes, miss, anyway, it is. Yes, we pray Shedeur keep his cool in this circus. Oh, he fine. One thing I've learned about Shedeur, you know, they talked about he couldn't compartmentalize his feelings. They a lie. I watched this man today against Baylor, and he took his helmet off. He should have been throwing it all the way around on everybody. Think about it. They tried to get down there. Will Shepherd, he couldn't hold on to the pass. He had to run the ball himself. He was sacked 8 times before that. And it's 2 seconds left, and it works. They just kept trying, kept plugging away, kept trying. They switched it up. He just rolled out to the left, and LeJounte did his thing. End zone magnet. And you think he would have been happy, elated, or frustrated before that? No. He would sit on the bench and start looking at that little iPad thing that they have with the plays on it to see what's next. Because he knew the job wasn't done. That's how you keep your guys in the game. Leadership can't show stress. Leadership can't show indecisiveness. Leadership can't show panic. And he doesn't show any of that. He doesn't show any of it. He's resilient and he is poised under pressure. You can't buy that. We're going to see how some of these quarterbacks do that they thought they wanted instead of Shedeur. I'm not waiting on nobody's downfall. But they said Jackson Dart met his ceiling when he was in the Senior Bowl. But they was mad because Shedeur wasn't at the Senior Bowl. I didn't even know he got an invite to the Senior Bowl. But when he went to the Shrine Bowl, several teams asked him not to play. He didn't even get to play in the celebrity NFL game, the flag football game he was invited to, because clearly teams didn't want him to play. So I think he tools these people out. I don't think Shedeur's on social media like we think. Just like when he was in school, he would, you know, at CU, he would go a week without being on social media. He plays his video game. He said he played with the Browns. I never forget he said that. I think the Browns played Shedeur. They lied to Shedeur. And just like Caleb Williams is writing a book, one day there will be a book. One day this will be a book. Number 12 just got to chill and give them a reason why they need him. Now, he don't need to do nothing but go to work and play his best for himself and God, because Shedeur is proven he don't have to prove nothing to nobody. I wish I could get money like that. Yes. Okay. Blue Moon, thank you. It says, I think they still have to work within the salary cap. If they do that, K. Hayes, then they should have never been meeting with Shedeur extensively, Jalen Milroe or Cam Ward, right? So that's my point. If you knew you had a salary cap issue, if you knew that, why are you out here meeting with these first round QBs? The Browns could court 100 QBs if they wanted to. They don't owe Shedeur nothing but respect. And I'm not saying that. That's what we're saying. But he wasn't even getting the respect. Understand that. He wasn't even getting the respect. Shedeur always playing chess. You could tell that anytime he's asked questions. But that doesn't mean Cleveland is right. That's what y'all don't understand. Just because something works out and it's working out for Shedeur, which we expected to because of who? Right. What did Shedeur say? They trying to play God. So we know what Shedeur doing. Shedeur don't need to prove anything to anybody. When he went out there and threw 5 touchdowns, and when he passed for 28 of 30 and for over 400 yards, he wasn't trying to prove nothing to them. He was already that guy with no O-line. And that's why they should have wanted him. So if Cleveland was shopping and had a salary cap issue, then they were window shopping and they should have left Shedeur out the picture altogether. But to set him up like that, and to drop him like that and to secretly meet with Dylan Gabriel, no, that's vile. V-I-L-E. So this is not business. This is unethical, actually. It's unethical. And that's problematic. And that's what we're saying about Cleveland. It's too many cover-ups going on out there. There's too many cover-ups. I don't think he was going to play in that celebrity game anyway. It wouldn't have been too risky. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. But it looked like he wanted to play. competition, consistent mindset. So yeah, Shedeur just gotta keep being Shedeur. He just gotta keep being Shedeur. I don't think he playing chess. I think he protecting his peace. That's what I think. I think Shedeur is protecting his peace. I think he knows that he realizes now they were playing with him. And it probably hurt because we human. But he's not gonna let that get to him. He'd have been hurt before. You don't think he was hurt when he was sacked 52 times physically and emotionally by your own team letting you down? That's why I say it ain't nothing that the NFL could do to Shedeur that he ain't been through already. Let's just be real. Coming off a hire from Jackson State for 2 years in a row to see you going 3-0 and then suddenly your team turn on you, your coaches turn on you, and you gotta watch them turn on your dad. So whether he was going to play in the game or not is not the point. The point is he was already acknowledged as a celebrity by the NFL because he played in the game at their request. And the point is you can't now say, oh, they don't like Shedeur, they treating him like this because of a media circus or a celebrity. They knew what it was. They always knew what it was. So Cornelius Lucas, I'm happy he got maybe what he deserved after grinding out for 12 years, a $10 million contract in 2 years. I didn't look up his career earnings to see what it was. What I do know is they did not get a starter in Tevin Jenkins, and they did not get a starter in Cornelius Lucas, and Cleveland not prioritizing the O-line. It's problematic. It's problematic. It's buffoonery. And now when you see that they were entertaining Shedeur all this time, but they knew they either had A, a salary cap issue, or B, like the owner said on March 31st, we took a big swing and missed with Deshaun Watson. That was more a dig at the GM. That was more a dig at the GM, who either they ushered to make that decision or they let him make that decision. And now they're throwing him under the bus publicly. They could have discussed that privately. And when he was entertaining Shedeur Sanders as late as CU Pro Day, Travis and Shedeur, he's made to look stupid behind Deshaun Watson like they didn't know that in 2022, 2023, and 2024. So it seems like they want to set themselves up to be incompetent or buffoons. But I think it's all intentional. It was set up to fail, not just in the gameplay, but in the draft. In the draft. So, that's what it is. That's what it is. They playing games, Tuna. Yep. They still have an agenda. Yep. And it's arrogant. Absolutely. Shedeur is like a diamond. It sparkles under pressure. Right. And that's what I was saying earlier today when I sung a little snippet of his song. He's baguettes around my neck. I stay shining. That's a metaphor. They don't understand it because they didn't take the time to get to know who he is. And what happened to all of that scouting and word about his character, but you don't even know his character? That's what gets me. You don't even know his work ethic because you say he got to come in, nothing will be given to him, put his head down and go to work. You didn't even have to say that because that's who he is. So it's like, it's all that time Andrew Berry spent with Shedeur, as he and Kevin Stefanski say, we know exactly who Shedeur is. We know we're going to come in here and put his head down and work. That's what Stefanski said. Kevin, that's what, the other guy, Andrew Berry, was like, well, nothing will be given to him. We want him to come in, put his head down and do what he got to do. They look like good cop, bad cop. And now Stefanski out here being the hero, saying that, it's, he was raised right, which is a nod to him and Coach Prime. His good work ethic, this, that, and the other things we already knew. So Stefanski looks like the hero to Shedeur, some of Shedeur's fans, and the other guy who we haven't seen looked like he on probation somewhere, and they got him locked up. And next time we see him, he gonna be packing up. May 1st, Uncle Chico show, the pregame show, 30 to 34 minutes, said Coach Reed said was talking with Bucky and mentioned on changing relationships. Changing relationships? Okay, maybe I gotta go find it. I don't know. May 1st, Uncle Chico show, the pregame show, 30, 40 more minutes. Coach Reed said, talking with Bucky and mentioned on changing relationships. Are you talking about Trevor? Are you talking about the trade with Trevor and Shedeur possibly going to Jacksonville? If not, I'll go look up May 1st, Uncle Chico, the pregame show. The New Orleans Saints trying to get Shedeur now as we speak. Isaiah, They must be trying to fix something then. They must be trying to fix something then. And it probably got everything to do with that damn prank. Okay. I believe you until I look it up myself and know for sure. All right. Thank you for that, Isaiah. How did you get that information? You know, if you tell me something, I got to know where you got it from. I keep hearing the local media bringing up what Prime said about new QBs going to Cleveland. That's why they counting these games. No, Coach Prime said that when Shedeur was 16 years old. That was in 2018. That they wanted you to think that that was recent. He didn't say that recently. Hugh Jackson was the head coach at the time. Kevin Stefanski was nowhere near there, and neither was Andrew Berry, I don't believe. He definitely wasn't the GM if he was in the organization. He didn't become GM till 2020 or 2021. So, yeah, no, that's not it. They tried to use that as if Coach Prime said that recently. I want you to notice they backed away from everything that they have said, everything. And if they are trying to get Shedeur in New Orleans, they're trying to make right on something because something was already put out there. I told you, everybody knew where they was going. Everybody knew where they was going. And supposedly the Saints was in the hunt. So something is going on behind the scenes. We do know that. In fact, several teams. Okay, Isaiah, we'll see. So our scouts won't be posted up at every practice being fake, right? Because what's the point, Caroline, of coming out if you wild away by Shedeur's deep ball accuracy? Because, I mean, hell, everybody knew that. You could have saw that at Jackson State. The Hail Mary pass he threw to LeJontay, he threw to Travis Hunter at Jackson State. In the Celebration Bowl, I do believe that's what it was. One is a hero, the other is a zero. You are the shero. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Salafi. Thank you, Salafi. That's sweet. I know, but that came up days ago. Oh, okay. Thank you, Tuna. Tab King. Most likely Kenny Pickett will be traded to New Orleans. I mean, that's where he should have went in the first place. I question why they took Kenny Pickett out of Philadelphia in the first place. But then I looked at the musical chairs they played. They took DTR from Cleveland and put him behind Jalen Hurts. I told y'all that's called stacking. And they took Kenny Pickett and sent him to Cleveland so they could kind of, I guess they knew Deshaun Watson wasn't coming back. It seems like they knew that already. Because think about it, how Deshaun Watson injury is covered by insurance, it's publicly reported, but then he gonna come back and play. Are they gonna give that money back? No. So he's not coming back anyway. He just inserted himself in the conversation because he wanted to have something to say about Shedeur, which show you something about his character. He might just need to because the ink ain't even dry, bro. The last case he settled was in 2024. Reality checks do heal. I'm talking about Coach Reed discussing how all the scouts and teams who use CU for publicity but stayed silent and how they treated Shedeur. Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. And I'm thinking about all the teams who sat there while CU's players got pushed to later rounds, but then as soon as Shedeur get drafted, the floodgates open. That's why I'm like, y'all sure y'all don't want to start your own league right now? I mean, y'all got time. It's not as hard as you think. If 7-on-7 can come on and get the attention of the NFL, and see, I noticed the NFL been posting about the UFL. So if you want to go over it now, remember Caleb Williams wanted to go to the UFL, but now the NFL seems to have kind of gotten its pause. It's giving attention to the UFL because they might be trying to corner the market. That's what that is called. Well, I'm gonna go ahead on it, make it so I have these relationships in the UFL, then you got to come back this way. Because not because we want you, but because we want to force you to do what we want to force you to do. I also see them giving love to 7-on-7. 7-on-7 is coming on fast. That's a league that just sprung out of thin air. So if that can happen, Coach Prime is having a 7-on-7 classic, the primetime 7-on-7. If that is super well attended, like I expect it to be, there's no reason why Coach Prime can't start his own league. And I'm happy to be the chief strategy officer. Not that I want nothing else to do, but I got the vision. So, you know, I want to get that done. And I want to go to the game. Deshaun is out for the season. Okay, John Kidd, that makes sense. Because if his injury is covered by insurance, he can't play. They already took care of that. Filed the claim, had it approved and everything. So he just gonna have to sit down. How come they did not cover Dillard throwing 4 picks in one day? Because they out there trying to figure out how to get around all of the publicity that Shedeur Sanders is getting. I told y'all, Cleveland gonna have a dilemma on their hands. They had Shedeur coming in, treating it with disrespect, now they backpedaling. Now he can start. Now the O-line is speaking out. But y'all know they didn't prioritize the O-line. So they trying to usher him up the ladder to start. Why are they suddenly, oh shit, we see the light? That's not what it is. It's something going on behind the scenes. Flag football is on Olympic program in 28. Yes. You always expose the plots. Yes. Yes, Alfie. Yes, 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 yes. Thanks for the young kids. That's for the young kids. Is it? Yeah, it is for the young kids. But I think Coach Prime 707 Classic is 9 through 12. Believe me, if that is well attended. Believe me, if that is well attended, well sponsored, you can just springboard from there. Do you think Aaron Rodgers not making a decision on where he's going because the Steelers not to pursue Shedeur? No. I heard Mike Tomlin say why they didn't get Shedeur. Mike Tomlin said there were these phone calls. I actually have a screenshot of what he said. There were these phone calls, and we had to listen to these phone calls. This is verbatim. We had to listen to these phone calls, and we did. And the other guy was still available, and that's why we went with him. So somebody came with a defamation that they've been pushing the whole way through, and they told the Steelers not to take him. Here's the question. We know that the owner said take that entitled whatever off the board. When was that? I need to know. Was that the first round? Because they had locked him out of the first round. So was it the second round? Was it after Tyler Shaw went to the Saints? Was it after Jackson Dart went to the Giants? Before Tennessee, Pittsburgh picked? When did the owners tell them to take him off the board? That is very important. Because that means they set up there if it was in the second round. And again, just like Cleveland didn't tell him, you know what, we're gonna go a different route. We're gonna make a different decision. The NFL could have also called Shedeur at home and say, hey, you know what, buddy, we're just gonna go a different route. We appreciate your interest in the NFL, but we're gonna move on. They didn't do that because they wanted to exploit him for his views, but they also wanted to publicly humiliate him, which is why they made sure he was there in front of 7.3 million people. Guys, I don't know football, but this is deeper than football. Absolutely, Blue Moon. Absolutely. They say he has to earn it. Shedeur earned it before he got there. He was the best QB in the draft. Pickett was not good in Philadelphia and is not good as a third string. I think they're setting up compensatory picks. Pickett and DTR are potential backups if somebody else gets injured. I agree. I just think they put DTR in Philly, and I don't know about Kenny Pickett because they got Kenny Pickett March 10th. They got Kenny Pickett March 10th before the owner came back and remember they had the Deshaun Watson contract, which was covered by insurance. See, I guess the owner don't think we read. Pickett is not good. That's what they say they think. They think Pickett gonna be traded before the season starts. They think Flacco is only 1 year. So that leaves Dylan and Shedeur to grow into. But I think Shedeur gonna get traded. I told y'all, Shedeur probably gonna get traded. And they're gonna have to do it the right way. They're not gonna be able to play with him, get it traded, leaving him sitting out there for days, and then at the last minute somebody swoop in and get him. They're not gonna be able to do that. That probably was the plan because they sent out his phone number with waiver wires because they was already planning to cut him. And they probably still are because just like we are talking about how many of us are not comfortable with Shedeur in Cleveland and they fumbling things and they look like they intentionally trying to hurt him and they colluded against them as an organization at the team level. We're not the only people who are saying that. They are walking back their defamatory statements for a reason. And it could end up with Shedeur in another city. I'm not mad at it if they do it right. And if he knows about it. Everything they did before was in secret. That's why it's called collusion. Coach Prime knew what was up because his expectation was Raiders or Steelers. No, he thought it was the Saints. Coach Prime thought it was the Saints. When you saw Alvin Kamara, that was not a coincidence. Yes, Coach Swayze is up there. That's his guy. At the pro day, Coach Prime said, by the way, I like those black and gold colors. The Saints had entered the conversation, but it could have been nothing but more than playing with Shedeur's, just like Cleveland was. Did you hear that GM on Pac-Man show? The most important thing he said was how cocky Aaron Rodgers was in the interview. Yeah, many people have talked about how Aaron Rodgers is, cocky, and that's how a lot of the QBs are, believe it or not. They say they just not like that on camera, I guess. You're whipping the NFL like Jamie Foxx beat their brothers with that whip. Oh, you're talking about at the Django. Thank you, Salafi. Thank you. I hope I'm saying it right. We're gonna get ready to get out of here. So I'm just reading y'all comments. Tomlin has no say in picking a QB. I knew that years ago when that trade for Mitchell Trubisky, he's not allowed to have a talented quarterback. Oh, okay. Now that's some new insight. Thank you for that, Mandel. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Oh, okay. Salafi, thank you so much. All right, y'all. We're gonna get out of here because it's late. It's late. And next, when we come back, we're gonna look at another member of the O-line. Again, Cornelius Lucas is a gamble. I'm happy for him personally, but from a needs met, the Cleveland Browns did not meet their needs at the O-line in the draft, nor in free agency, with going with $13 million in backup depth guys. So that's it. All right, I'm out of here. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. Don't forget, if you are on, if y'all are on Twitch, don't forget to look for me on Twitch. If you're on the go or you like to listen to podcasts, check out the podcast on Spotify. It's Listen Up by What She Said Sports on Spotify. We have 3 episodes: Travis Hunter, Shanna Sharp, and Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders episode is called Shedeur Sanders, The Painful Push to 144. It's a good episode. I'll see if I can put the link in the chat for y'all to just click on it right away. And that way y'all can go directly to it. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all wrap up y'all's conversations as well. Ever engaging, good engagement, good insight. Thank y'all so much. And here it is right here. So I'll put it in the comments. All right. So what you see, the link that I am posting is to the audio podcast, Shedeur Sanders, The Painful Push to 144. All right. Good night, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. 12:30 p.m. Who knows what's going to happen? Because I did not expect Charles Woodson to become, in the last 4 days, it was announced, minority ownership stake in the Cleveland Browns. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to more shenanigans and antics from the NFL. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Good night. Good night, everybody. Okay, I will, Eric. Thank you so much. Thank you.